over guys to all the six guys. What does that mean to you guys when you've got that DMV talent out there?
I mean, I feel like it means a lot to go out there, like definitely on this stage, playing for America, but for Georgetown, having a lot of local guys stick together. I've known Sway since 7th grade, Caleb, Zay. I mean, he's like one of my best friends. So just being able to play with him in front of our families, in front of a crowd like this, and a stage like this, definitely mean a lot.
Awesome.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Finger Wag Podcast. My name is Gideon Hertz. I'm the host of the Finger Wag Podcast. Starting things off a little differently today for our post-game pod, because that quote, I think, from DeShawn Harris-Smith after Georgetown's 76-74 win against Brazil, which we will get into in a second, but I really think that quote sort of stands out for me. If Georgetown accomplished nothing else over the course of this tournament, bringing together those DMV talents, which we'll talk about, the DeShawn Harris-Smith, Malik, Mack, Isaiah Abraham, and Caleb Williams, all team takeover guys, all DMV born and bred. It means a lot for this program and for this team, and to get them all on the same page contributing to the future of Georgetown is a really, really big deal. And I thought that quote was really impactful from DeShawn Harris-Smith, who we'll get into his game, but he's been kind of outstanding for Georgetown over the course of this tournament. Has given us a lot in terms of his play, but I thought that quote really stood out. So wanted to start off with that before we dive into the breakdown and post-game analysis from Georgetown's narrow 76-74 victory, a tight one in the end that ended up being really meaningful because Georgetown will now go on to the gold medal game with that win against Brazil. They will play Brazil again in the gold medal game. It'll be the third time that they've played Brazil. They played Brazil once before the tournament in a warm-up game. I believe Brazil won that game, though I'm not sure about the details of how it was scored, how it was timed, how it was officiated, all that stuff. It was a warm-up game and a friendly, but I believe Brazil won that game. Georgetown, of course, wins this one, and by virtue of head-to-head point differential between the three teams with 2 wins, that's Canada, Brazil, and Georgetown and Brazil having better point differentials between those 3 teams will play in the gold medal game. And there's a lot to dig into from this one. Wanted to get you guys a quick post game up on this because I think we need to get ready as a group for the gold medal game on Sunday. So for this post game pod, we will run through some big takeaways from Georgetown's win against Brazil. We'll run through player performances and then look ahead to the gold medal game on Sunday, which hopefully everybody will get a chance to see. I believe it will be broadcast on ESPN Plus, even though Canada is not in that one. But we'll get you ready for this. And there was a lot from this game, so try and run through it as quickly as possible, giving you all of the details behind the scenes. So for me, just starting with big takeaways, this was a team win all the way around, really balanced in terms of scoring, but also just in terms of impact guys. They got winning plays from almost every guy who played at some point. There was a play that each guy made that I think helped them win this game, which was, I think, is going to be a feature of this team moving forward, particularly when you don't have KJ Lewis or Langston Love. You need a collective to step up. And Georgetown just did enough. It was all about their toughness and defense. Really, really hard fought game. We'll talk more about Brazil, but they are scrappy. They execute really well. I think that Brazil is certainly not the most talented team. I think they're probably the 3rd most talented team at this tournament behind Canada and Georgetown. But they look like they've played more together than both of those teams. Certainly Canada, who is a collection of guys who just came together over the past couple weeks, if that. They played together. They understand the FIBA rules. They play to the FIBA rules. This kind of came up in a couple of different places that we'll talk about. But they are tough. They get into you. They are physical. They are really, really tough to play against. And if they're not going to beat themselves necessarily, they require you to beat them. And Georgetown did just enough to do that. And I think that was because of the team effort, and every single guy out there made a play that helped this team win. The other big takeaway for me was this was a game that showed off Georgetown's toughness. We've said, I think, that Georgetown's going to be in a lot of rock fights this year. I think that's absolutely true, but part of being in those rocks, winning those rock fights is being tougher than the other team, and they were tougher today. They were tougher than a really scrappy, as I said, Brazil team. Georgetown kept in it even as Brazil was making a late run in the fourth that it almost seemed ordained, frankly. They made, I think, 7 straight threes in the fourth quarter. And it got to a point where it just sort of looked like they weren't going to miss, and Georgetown was just going to get, their hopes dashed because Brazil was throwing in prayers. And some of them there were a couple of open shots that Georgetown gave up, but there were others that were just, prayer shots that went in. A couple of guys from the Brazil team he just got hot and they could not miss. And despite this feeling of, well, it's just inevitable that Brazil's going to come back and win this, Georgetown goes up early in the fourth, which was big. I thought they came out in the fourth quarter after Brazil upped the intensity at the end of the third and upped the aggressiveness. The crowd for Brazil got really into the game at the end of the third, and it looked like, I think it was 55-48 at that point at the end of the third, really right in the balance, right in the zone where the game had sort of been 5 to 7 points kind of the whole way. And it looked like Brazil at the end of the third quarter, I think it was 55 Georgetown. They looked like they'd settled a little bit, but Brazil had upped the intensity right at the end of the third quarter. There were a couple of technical fouls. The Brazilian bench was getting into it. Brazilian fans were getting into it. Some guys screaming some obscenities, I believe, in Portuguese. As long as the Portuguese and Spanish curse words are the same, they were screaming many expletives. It looked like Brazil was going to make a push, and Georgetown comes out at the top of the fourth, and they're the ones that make the push. They go on a 5-0 run, really solid defense, but the toughness and intensity that they built there was really, really impressive. I thought Brazil was going to come out and put their foot on the gas, and Georgetown was going to have to respond. And Georgetown threw the first punch in that fourth. Now, Brazil came back and eventually took the lead late in the fourth. And as I mentioned, it seemed like they just weren't going to miss, but Georgetown kept in it and fought back, kept going to the rim, which we'll talk about here, and was able to respond even in the face of crowd, bench, coaches, players getting into it, a lot of external stuff going on. The Georgetown players responded really tough. And I think goes without saying that part of this toughness, I think, have to mention DeShawn Harris-Smith, who hurt his ankle at the end of the Canada game. We all saw that turn of his ankle that looked just absolutely brutal. At the end of that game, I was looking at him on the bench, and he was in a lot of pain talking to the trainer, who's just asking him, how does it feel? And I could see him mouthing it. It's throbbing. It's hurting a lot. So I thought for sure, not going to risk him injuring it further, even if he could play, which I doubt he could because it looked bad. He came out, and as you'll hear from Coach Cooley in the post-game comments, he didn't think that DHS was going to play, but he came to him and said, I want to play. You'll hear DHS address this in his post-game comments, that this is meaningful to him and he wanted to give it a go. He looked great again, and the toughness there, I think, shone through, not just in wanting to play, but actually going out there and doing it and contributing. The last big takeaway from me is points in the paint won this game for Georgetown. 36 points in the paint to 14 for Brazil, and that is not quite the whole story, because on top of those 36 points in the paint, Georgetown drew a lot of fouls, particularly late in this game, that helped them win the game. So their willingness and ability to attack the paint and actually get some production from their bigs was really crucial. And that's ultimately what I think won them this game, despite Brazil's really hot shooting from three, 40% from three, 12 of 30, and particularly late where they made 7 in a row. Georgetown just kept going at the paint and got foul calls, and guys stepped up and hit them. I think, Julius will talk about hit 2 in the clutch, or hit 1, and then you have the infamous free throw line block. I'll talk about that really quickly because there's one of the weirder plays I've seen, and was talking to some of the people around the game, including Coach Cooley. He had no idea what that was about. Best I can tell is obviously the FIBA rule is that if you block the free throw, it's a dead ball technical, so one shot, and then the opposing team, so the team who the technical was called on, gets the ball at half court. So Julius steps up, hits the first free throw, tie game, steps up, takes the second, and the Brazilian player jumps in the lane and blocks it. And basically what they're banking on there is we'd rather be down 2 at most with the ball at half court and a chance to win the game on a 3 with 5 seconds left than have the ball underneath our basket, either inbounding with 2 points, with a 2-point deficit, or he misses it and we get a rebound and we've got 5 seconds to go up the floor. So I think letter of the law, it seems like a smart play. You get the ball with a shot to win and you're able to advance it. I think it's an absolutely insane rule to have, that you can just block a free throw attempt. Again, block a free throw attempt. If you've seen the video, it's insane. He jumps into the lane, blocks a free throw attempt like it's a pickup game, and he's trying to stop the play from moving on. And the fact that that is a net positive for the team that commits that technical foul is an insane way to run a rodeo. FIBA's got to fix that. But back to this takeaway, which is that the points in the paint and the focus on the paint, particularly in the second half, got Georgetown crucial buckets when they needed them, exploited their size advantage, which is what they had inside, and they were able to get to the line, which ended up winning them the game. So that points in the paint, huge. I think it's going to be huge for them on Sunday, but really, really impressive there. And something that we needed to see. We needed to see guys like Vince and Julius, who we'll talk about, but also some of the other guys step up and make shots in the lane. And Jaden Ford, I'll shout out here and get to him in a second. He came up really big down the stretch. Let's talk about some individual players here. We'll just go through some quick recaps and notes on each of them, starting with Malik Mack. Let me check my stats here. So Malik finished with 11 points, 2 for 11 shooting, 18%, 0 for 3 from 3, 7 for 9 from free throw range. And that, again, is really crucial. 4 rebounds, 7 assists. There were a couple of shots that Malik took that looked great, that were all the way down and then somehow just kind of rimmed out. Looks like they hit something at the bottom of the net and bounced out. Weird ball. I'm going to chalk it up to that. We know we've talked a lot about what Malik needs to do to improve on this team, and it's got to be shooting. And we haven't seen it yet in this tournament, but the process has looked okay at times. He also started with a really nice runner bank shot that I thought he had missed in the previous couple of games that just wasn't going in, and that one did, that I thought might get him going. In the end, he wasn't able to really shoot it effectively, but got to the free throw line a bit more in this game, went 7 of 9, hit that late tech, which was huge, put them up to hit some late free throws as well. And as I said, had a few layups rim out that seemed like they should have been down, except for a ball that seems to have a mind of its own. Jeremiah Williams got the start for DHS in this one, and he was massive. I think he was, to me, probably, as I said, this was a team win, but he was up there in terms of player of the game for me. He finished with 13 points on 6 of 13 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, a steal. He was everywhere on the floor. He is such an absolute menace defensively. Just a just a pest to deal with. And down the stretch, he was really, really key. And I have a sneaking suspicion that even if he's not playing, huge minutes during a game, he might be a guy that sees the floor late, both defensively and offensively, to advance the ball or to make the right play, because they needed him on the floor at the end of this game, and he showed why. Excuse me. He had a really nice backdoor pass to Jaden Fort to get him a dunk late. Got to the rim when Georgetown needed a bucket. And I think just knows when to press on the gas and brings a defensive mentality that is just going to be an absolute nightmare to play against. Isaiah Abraham, again in this one, I thought he was very solid. He finishes with 6 points, 2 for 7 from the floor, 2 of 5 from the three, 40% there. And so both of his buckets coming from the three. Pulled down 7 boards, which was huge. 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He was just, I continue to raise my expectations and raise the bar for Isaiah, because he looks really, really solid. It has shown, at least through this tournament, that when he gets open shots and open threes, he can knock them down, which is an important part of raising the overall floor for this team. He battled really hard defensively, got on the boards, as I said, 7 rebounds. There was one play where he gets switched on to Brazil's big man and just is fighting with him for position, and he's giving up at least 20, 30 pounds on him at minimum, and was just committed to not letting that guy get deep position, and really, took a little bit of a beating doing it as well. And I think he's put his body on the line throughout this tournament, and I just think he is earning playing time by virtue of being willing to do things that the team needs to win. And that includes making 2 open shots when he got the look. Caleb Williams, I thought, was really good, but did foul out in this game. Only 7 points, 2 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, so 25%. Not as good as he's been shooting, but 8 boards, 2 assists, a turnover, and a block. Again, 5 fouls, so fouls out in this one, and his last foul was kind of a one that you'd probably like to have back. It was on a defensive rebound, and he just a ball that he had no chance of getting, and knocks into the player, but didn't have the shot going as early in this one. He was short on his first 2 jumpers, and I think his legs were just heavy. So I'm actually not that concerned about a 25% 3-point shooting at night. I think he is far closer to the 40% that we've seen for the first 2 games. This is just, 3rd game in 4 days, or 4th game in 5 days, if you count the friendly against Brazil to start the tournament. I think it was heavy legs. He was just short on those, but he got on the boards, and that is really the takeaway for me. 8 boards despite fouling out. It's just classic Caleb to me, recognizing and hearing Coach Cooley, but recognizing what the team needed after the last game, which was rebounding, and he goes and does it. Isaiah did this as well, 7 boards, shout out to him, but Caleb really got on the glass, particularly defensive glass. He's been a really good offensive rebounder for Georgetown. Hasn't been as dominant as a defensive rebounder, but 7 of his 8 boards came on the defensive end, which was huge. And I just think he showed what he means to this team, and that is solving problems for them on both ends. And it's just a real testament to him. Vince Iwuchukwu got the start again. Big day for Vince. Ultimately, he finishes a team high 16 points, 7 for 11 from the floor. That's 63%. Didn't take a 3 in this one. 2 for 3 from free throw line, 5 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 2 blocks, and a couple of fouls. The 2 turnovers came early in this game where he just fumbled the ball a couple of times on passes and just didn't look like he had his hands, including he fumbled a pass on what would have been a wide open dunk. I think Coach Cooley's comments that you'll hear are really critical. It's all about confidence for him. Once he got confidence, he had a run of 3 straight dunks in the second quarter. One was a transition Euro step, and then 2 lobs on the high pick and roll. He is the quintessential vertical spacer. You throw the ball up, particularly against a team like Brazil, who just does not have the bodies to or the size to match him. And he put his imprint on this game. He made a turnaround bunny in the second half, which whether it was the first one he made of those or second in the tournament, those have just not gone down for him. So it was really nice to see. And I think, again, to Coach Cooley's comment that you'll hear, it's all about confidence. He had confidence in that shot, felt like he was going to make it, and went up strong with it. And I think it paid off. He played really well in this after a rough start, I think. And again, they don't win this game without Vince's play. Julius finished this one with 10 points. So Biggs contributing here. He went 3 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3, 4 of 5 from free throw from the line. Did not grab a rebound, which I think is concerning a little bit. But the free throws, he stepped up and knocked home the 2 biggest free throws, or the 1 biggest free throw, and then the free throw that was blocked looked like it was going in to me. I was right on the floor there. It looked like it was a good shot. Was definitely going in, I think. And he looked confident there. And those were not easy free throws. They were down 1 at that point. So you think, those, in my mind, are the toughest free throws to make. You have to make that first one. If you make that first one, or if you miss that first one, the second one becomes just a nightmare mentally. And he stepped up and knocked it home. And I think, again, they don't win without that. So didn't quite respond on the boards. I thought he had a couple of nice inside finishes in the second half, including a really nice steal off a horn set that I think we'll see more of in the Sunday game. I think you're going to see more sort of high-low action and down screens into posts for Georgetown bigs, because they didn't have a ton of success just kind of traditionally posting up, trying to get guys, Vince and Julius, the ball on the block. I think it's got to come off of movement, and they had some success there. And Julius, 10 points. Just would like to see him get on the boards a little bit more. We talked a little bit about DeShawn Harris-Smith already. Let me just give you his full stat line. 5 points. It's not where he had his impact in this one. 1 of 4 from 3. He hit a big 3 in the first half. 2 of 2 from the line. 5 boards, 4 assists. I think you're going to see a lot of this 10-5-4, 9-5-4 DeShawn Harris-Smith this year, because he just makes the right play over and over again. Again, he didn't start, but when he came in the first half, he came in at a point in time where they needed somebody to settle him, and DeShawn did that, both defensively and offensively. There were countless times where DeShawn makes a really great rotation on defense to clog up the middle, and then he's 6'5", maybe 6'6", but has the size and strength to make that middle rotation off of a helping big, so that he's the low man there, and now the rim protection, and is able to knock the opposing big off of the block because he's so strong. So he's not giving up an easy dunk there despite being a little bit undersized. And I think that's what you heard from Coach in terms of him being positionless. But there's not much more you can say about DeShawn than he rolled his ankle as badly as you can. It looked like, though, who knows, he seems fine, and went out there and played like nothing was the matter. We talked with Coach after the game, you'll hear it, but he said, I was surprised that he played, and I was surprised he played that much. Thought it was funny because it's the exact same reaction that we have. You can't take him off the floor. He's out there and he's got to be. I think that's going to be the case for DeShawn and this year a lot. Jaden Fort, sneaky important game for him. 8 points, 4 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from free throw line, 3 rebounds. He had 2 really big buckets late. One, an offensive board off of a free throw that he just fought for, found, and put back up. Got fouled, but missed the and one free throw on that one. Hoyas were down there, so this was right in the middle of Brazil's fire run of threes, and they were down 1. That put them up 1. And then he had that great backdoor cut and feed from J. Will that, that's not a totally, that's not a hugely skilled play, but it's a really smart play. It's a good cut and a good finish. And he is, as he's getting comfortable, he's quickly looking like a guy who is, again, going to make the right play. And there are two plays right there that without those, Georgetown does not win this game. So, again, a team effort and just being in the right place. And when your number's called, having he was ready to step up into the opportunity. Seal Juf didn't play a lot in this one, played in the first half, didn't have any buckets, 1 rebound, 1 assist. But that doesn't really tell the story of his game for me. Early in the first half, when Vince looked a little shaky and Julius wasn't quite into the game, they needed somebody to come in and block out and rebound, and Seal did that. Really solid minutes when they needed it. He remains just a good option if you need him. He's got a long ways to go in terms of the polish offensively. Defensively, he's a little slow to rotate and make the reads. I think that's going to get better because I think he's just a good basketball player. I think he's just a guy who can play. And if he needs to play 5 minutes in a game like this, I feel pretty confident that he's going to go out there and put a positive stamp on the game. At least he's not going to hurt you. And that is big when you have the potential foul trouble and when you've got bigs who are a little streaky. The ability to put Seal in and just say, buy us 4 minutes, buy us 5 minutes, and keep the requisite level up without making a bunch of errors. Really important. And I thought he was really good in that first half. He also responded to Brazil's physicality. He was in a just absolute shoving match at one point where he was getting absolutely mauled and then just shoved the Brazil player back, which should have been a technical. I think they ultimately called a double personal foul, one on each player, Seal and then the Brazilian. If they had just called the first foul on Seal, I don't think it would have gotten there, but Seal just was not going to take it and shoved him right back. And I think it was a stamp that the team needed. So officially, this was a little up in the air. We had competing, whether Georgetown was going to play in the gold medal game, what it would take to get there. Again, there was some working behind the scenes to try and figure out exactly what the tiebreakers were. And I can tell you that the Georgetown team didn't totally know. And that's not because of anything that they did. It was unclear to a lot of people, including some of the Canada people there, some of the, I didn't talk to any of the Brazil folks, but media wasn't quite sure. So it just wasn't clear what was happening. But Georgetown ends up winning by 2, and that secures, as a result of head-to-head point differential, Georgetown will play Brazil in the final tomorrow at 8 p.m. As I mentioned, this is the third time Brazil and the U.S. will match up. I expect this to be chippy. This game was chippy, and a lot of it, I'll be totally honest, I'm very biased, but a lot of it was instigated by the Brazilian team, who didn't do anything cheap or anything, but they were into Georgetown, and their fans and bench and players were aggressive and loud, and Georgetown needed to respond, and they did. So I expect this final to be another one just like that. It absolutely looks like Brazil wants to win this tournament, exhibition tournament or not. They looked like they are playing to win the tournament. Georgetown, I think, wants to win this tournament as well, and they've got a shot to do it. I think you'll see some adjustments from the Georgetown team. They haven't been scouting that much, but as I said, they've played Brazil twice now. I think you'll see some different approaches to try and establish the post early, particularly some down screens into post actions, some flex action into posts. I think they're going to try and get deeper seals off of movement for Vince and Julius rather than just try and have Vince and Julius body up the Brazilians, because Brazil was being really physical and fighting them in a way, wasn't being called, and it, wasn't that it was inconsistent on both ends, but they allowed a lot of physicality. And I think stuff that seems like it would be a foul in the States was not. So I think Georgetown's going to respond to that. I think they are aware of that, and they are going to adjust to it. And I think it's a question of who in this final game is going to step up. Is it going to be another all-around team effort where nobody really takes the reins? I think if that's the case, you're going to be in another rock fight. And I will say, for all the doom and gloom out there that I have seen about, oh gosh, Georgetown blowing it late again. I mean, Brazil had to make 7 straight threes to make this a game. And you'll hear from Coach Cooley here in a second. Definitely there were some lapses, there were some miscommunications, there were some undisciplined moments there, but it was also just Brazil went absolutely nuclear for a couple of minutes, and Georgetown weathered the storm. I, as I said at the outset, when Brazil was making all of those threes, I was down on the floor. I think the kid at the end of the shot clock made that step back 3 just right at the end of the shot clock that just was with, I think, DeShawn Harris-Smith just right in his grill, and he knocks it down. I thought, well, they're just not missing, and there's no way that Georgetown can win this game. And to their credit, they fought through it and were able to pull it out and get to this gold medal game, which is a big one. One more high major game, and you'll hear again Coach talk about that, the opportunity to develop chemistry, the opportunity to get more of a look at our guys, different lineups. And I'll be really looking to see how Vince Julius respond in this one. I think it's going to come down again to making sure that they clean up on the glass, making sure that they're good on defense, and who's going to step up and make shots when they need them. Be great to see a game from Malik where he's shooting, 40, 50% and, 35, 40% from 3. That'd be awesome. But I think you're going to more likely see a team effort like you did in this one, where everybody's making a play that helps win the game. And that's going to lead to some close games, but it's clearly a really solid together team, even at this stage in August. We'll go now to post-game quotes from Coach Cooley, talking about the game, talking about his reactions, talking about his plans for the gold medal game. And then we've got availability from Vince, Malik, and DeShawn, including the comment that we led the show with, which, again, I think that takeaway from this tournament, but the way this team is put together, is really critical. That the DMV guys know that is an important identity here, and they are leaning into it. And I think, you've seen that from DeShawn. I'm eager to talk to Caleb and Isaiah about it as well and get more from Malik, but it's really clear, and you can see it on the court, most importantly, and you've seen some of the coverage off the court as well. So we'll end with those comments from the post-game media scrums. We'll be back tomorrow with the coverage of the gold medal game. Not sure what post-game is going to look like because it's an 8 p.m. game, and I don't know what the ceremony is going to look like regardless of whether Georgetown wins or loses, but we'll try and bring you as much coverage as possible. We'll bring you post-game if we can, all of that good stuff, but make sure you're following Fingerwag Hoyas on Twitter, thefingerwag.com, as well as subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your pod so that you can stay up to date. And when we drop our other quotes post-game, you're the first to get it. As always, Hoya Saxon. Cool. Congrats on the win. Hard fought. You challenged your guys to rebound better in this game again, as opposed to the game against Canada. How do you think they responded?
I thought we responded well. Plus 10 on the glass today. I wasn't excited with the group in a really, really close game against Canada, our last game. Again, we knew the game would be physical. We played them in a friendly, and I think they're a talented, experienced group. Don't know if we'll see them tomorrow or not. We'll see what, point differential and all that, I don't know. But I was proud of our guys, the way we executed on how to win down the stretch, right? We gave up a 14-point lead, maybe in the fourth period, where they made 3 after 3 after 3, and then our lack of discipline fouling, yet we found a way. I thought we had unselfish play, from Jeremiah, nice backdoor play to Jay Fort, offensive rebound by Jay Fort, free throw to tie the game by Julius. So those guys all redshirted last year and didn't play. So I was really excited to see. I thought our 2-point defense was unbelievable. I thought we did a great job defending. I thought we did a great job trying to share the ball, making the right play. Overall, great team win. To have a level of game we've had the last 2 games, and it's August 15th or 16th, I'm really proud of that, And hopefully this pays major dividends as we continue to grow and go into the season.
Really physical game down low. Like you guys were closer, and pain points is about even, and rebounds as well. But like you're saying, pulled away at the end. How did you guys end up kind of getting the advantage there down there?
Well, you know, we didn't, when we played in the friendly, we really didn't utilize our post that well. So we wanted to make that a point of emphasis to try to get Julius, Seal, and Vince the ball, and, you know, just to try to see what we can do with it. And I thought they did a decent job. I always think we can do a better job. But at the end of the day, today was about improvement, and I thought we got better. We got better defensively. We got better rebounding the ball. So overall, I was very proud of our men.
What made the difference for Vince today to finish so efficiently?
You know, Vince just needs to stay confident. You know, he's a talented young player. You know, his previous 2 schools, he had opportunities. He just wasn't able to maximize some of them, and today he was able to maximize them.
Got a question right here.
Talk about DeShawn.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we were very, very surprised DeShawn played today. This morning, I was intending on not playing him today, but you know that DMV toughness he provided today. You know, he said, "Coach, I want to give this a go." He played way more than I thought he was going to play. That showed me a lot about his internal and emotional toughness, as well as physically able to get through. He played way more than I thought he was going to play. How many minutes he played? DeShawn.
DeShawn played 26.
26
and a half.
And again, we didn't plan on playing him at all. So I'm really proud of his toughness. Thank you, brother.
Like you said, you're not really sure about point differential. We were hearing a couple different things. It sounded like it was confirmed, but I don't want to say anything that I'm not 100% sure.
I have no idea.
But if you are getting Brazil again tomorrow, what adjustments would you like to see?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the adjustments we are. I mean, what I am going to share with you is we're very fortunate and very grateful to be here, to have a chance to play another game. Either way, I think you're going to play against a very quality opponent, a well-coached team. So it's just a matter of who we play. I don't know. Whoever we play, I just want Georgetown to continue to grow, develop, communicate, and improve.
You said you started yesterday with some puppies, grew up a little bit. Did you see some dogs out there today?
I saw a couple of dogs, but, you know, I saw a couple of puppies, too. A couple of puppies. We're not dogs yet. We need to be dogs in the Big East. We don't need to be dogs here in Canada. Anything else?
All good for me.
I'll just play into the point differential, however it balances out, because I don't think anybody does that without the knowledge of it. And we, coming from the States,
Yeah.
we don't know. And I've coached FIBA before, but we've always had, with USA Basketball, we've always had the committee with us.
Yeah.
So our committee would tell us what was going on. I mean, we're coming over here, we don't have a committee with us.
Yeah.
And I mean, and again, it's all about development, man.
Yeah.
You know, win or lose, did we get better, did we improve, are we getting, I mean, I got, 8 new guys again?
Yeah.
I've been at Georgetown, it's my 3rd season, I think. How many players have we got? 20, 22, 23 players in 3
Yeah.
years?
Please.
And that's the landscape of college basketball right now. Instead of developing programs and cultures, right now you're just going to develop a team every year. This here definitely helps. That's why I'm so grateful and can't continue to say that for what we're going through. That's a high major game. Canada, high major game. You can't get that in August.
Yeah. What have you seen most from you guys as far as development here? What's
Chemistry,
the-
know-how, you can't pay for that situation in practice.
Yeah.
Up 14 fourth quarter, down 1 twice, free throw, layup, back cut. Honestly, that's why we're here, for that situation.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys. And
Yeah,
thank you.
Start with you, DeShawn. Sounds like you guys are in the gold medal game. How's it feel?
I mean, it feels great. You only get a chance to go win a gold medal for your country so many times. So being blessed to have this opportunity definitely means a lot for our team. It's another bonding experience. Just get better, get high-level games right now in the summer.
You played 26 minutes today. Coach was surprised that you were able to go. How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel great. Like I said earlier, like this might be my only chance to win a gold medal. So I felt like I had to go out there, give it all on the line for my guys. They gave me confidence to go out there, just play as hard as I can with my ankle, and I just did it. I went out there and did that.
Coach, I was talking about the importance of going into a new season. These moments, like being down, a team comes back against you, you're down one, leads changing in final minutes, having to make big shots. What does that kind of preparation mean going into the upcoming season for you guys?
It's a big preparation, tight games. You got to be able to win those games if you want to go far in the tournament or push your team to the next level. So playing in these tight games, just teaching us how to finish games and how to execute down the stretch is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a super physical game. Brazil's defense, and in the post specifically, they were really hands-off with you guys. Going into the finals, if you're going to be seeing them tomorrow, how are you going to adjust to that a little bit?
Just matching the physicality, adjusting to how the game is being called, and just using our size to our advantage. That's it. That's really it for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince did that today. You were able to finish at the rim a lot. What was the difference for you inside?
Just the mentality. I just believe, our bigs, not just me included, we're very physical. We work on it every day. We're a physical group, so whenever there's physical guys, it's kind of like I've seen it before. I play against it every single day in practice, so it's not really much of a challenge. So I'm looking forward to it tomorrow again.
Yeah. And the high pick and roll between both of you was effective today. Like, what were you guys seeing out of those looks? Either can answer up to you.
Just trying to read the tag, man, see what's going on. If it's a lob threat, so we can throw it up to the rim, or if the shooter's open, throw it to the shooter, or if they leave the ball handler open, just making the right read, trying to get 2 points out of the ball screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like after the first couple dunks, they were loaded up on him a bit. Saw you found Caleb.
Yeah.
Like in game, making those kind of adjustments. Like, what were you seeing from them on their end, and how do you think that they'll maybe try to respond to that?
Early on, they wasn't really tagging the screen, but later they kind of adjusted. So the ball handler in the pick and roll just had to make a new decision. Always just trying to create an advantage out of the pick and roll. So I feel like we took advantage of the advantages we were trying to create out of the pick and roll.
We saw a couple of lineups with 4 team takeover guys, 2 Paul to 6 guys. What does that mean to you guys when you've got that DMV talent out there?
I mean, I feel like it means a lot to go out there and like definitely on this stage, playing for America, but for Georgetown, having a lot of local guys stick together. I've known Sway since 7th grade, Caleb, Zay. I mean, he's like one of my best friends. So just being able to play with him in front of our families, in front of a crowd like this, on a stage like this, definitely means a lot.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate your time.